Are we in?
Yeah.
I'm in.
Testing, 1, 2.
I'm in.
Jess hasn't even recorded.
Just kidding.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Are we in this bitch?
I'm in this bitch.
I've been here.
I'm in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Jarred, Season 5? Question mark?
Yeah, 5. Yeah,
Yes,
5.
it is 5.
Not the question mark, exclamation mark. We're here. Are we back?
Cool. My coochie is twinging.
And we're back with a bang.
How has everyone's summers been?
Cold.
Yeah, I was going to say, go for Dougie.
Yeah.
It's winter.
It's not a hot girl summer for me.
It's not hot, Dougie summer.
No. Freezing my little butt off. Not that there's much to freeze off, but yeah.
So there ain't a lot there, is there?
It's not a hot girl summer, but it is a vaccinated summer.
Hey.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. My third arm is starting to grow. Either that or I just have a really big penis.
I was going to say, sure that's not just a really big dick.
So, yeah.
Great, it's getting bigger.
Can't even button my pants anymore.
Shit.
Everyone get vaccinated. You'll get a really big dick.
What's wrong with Ryan?
Nothing. I'm still in this bitch, but the video software just decided to go bye-bye. It's fine.
Oh, it hurt us talking shit.
Yeah.
It did.
It just gone.
Oh,
It's fine.
fuck.
It's fine. We were just saying that, people rather listen to podcasts rather than watching them anyway.
Oh, God. I'm not wearing
Very
a bra
true.
either. What the fuck? I did this for the viewers.
I got to get this video back up and running then. I got to get it back up and running. I'm going to try. Work, bitch.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. Well,
We're going on a very... What?
Huh?
Oh, no, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was just going to say we're going to be going on a very special journey this season.
We are.
Yes.
I'm really.
That's what I was going to say was should we mention what Season 5 is bringing us?
Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
I don't know how the Unsolved Mysteries music goes.
I don't know why you started doing it.
It's something similar to that.
It's along those lines.
Something alien-y. I don't know.
That's X-Files I'm thinking of.
This might be the perfect time for an Unsolved Mysteries season because I heard through the grapevine, aka my mom, that they're going to do another batch of Unsolved Mysteries episodes in
on
October,
Netflix.
I think.
Oh, I sure hope so.
I do too. I haven't heard anything about it, so I can't confirm. Like I said, I heard it from my mom, so
Oh, excuse me.
hopefully she's not lying to me.
Is this on Netflix? Yeah.
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 Yes.
So we may be just in time with this one, boys.
Ooh.
I hope this next batch is better than the last, because that second batch was, kind of underwhelming.
It was a hard pass on those. I really enjoyed the first season. The second one was one of those ones that you watched, and then once you were done, you was like, yeah, okay, cool, let's go back to the first season again. Yeah.
The second one, it was they knocked it out of the park with the first batch, and then the second one, it was maybe through no fault of their own, it just didn't live up to the hype of the first one. They were perfectly, they were perfectly good stories. They just weren't as captivating as that first set.
Yeah. I don't think anything could be as captivating as that UFO one from season 1.
No.
Holy crap, that
was crazy.
That was something else.
Which one was it with the French guy who murdered his entire family and then disappeared?
That was the second.
I liked that one.
I liked that one. I don't know whether that was first or second, but I really enjoyed that one because it wasn't really.
That was crazy.
What I loved about that, the fact that it was unsolved, but it wasn't unsolved because they watched him walk off into the distance on the last CCTV footage. So they knew it was him and they knew what he'd done, but it was something they'd never found him since. And I love that aspect. It's they're just so close to the grasp of it, and it's just. It's a way that I really enjoyed that one.
I will say, because you said that, not knowing but also knowing,
Yeah.
it makes me very, very excited for what my topic is for this season. And I'm telling you, I'm so excited for it. It's going to be so good.
So can I ask?
I can't wait.
We obviously don't know what each of us are doing, right? Jess, I'll start with you. Are you kind of going off a similar vibe of what you did with Urban Legends? Are you doing one topic based on your 3 different episodes, or are you doing...
I'm glad
one
you mentioned this
each?
because I literally was just talking to Amber about this before recording. So
Okay.
my plan was that if I had enough information, mine was going to be a season arc. But if I didn't, then I would just do 3 separate ones.
Right.
But with the one that I'm doing today, I have enough information for 1 episode, but the rest of it didn't pan out like I was hoping or like I'd planned for it to. So
Okay.
I didn't get as much information as I was
Right.
thinking I would. But I
Now-
can get into that later. But that also
No.
left me room. But I don't know what my second one's going to be. But that left me room for my third one to be a huge one. I'm pretty sure everyone is familiar with my third one. I'm not going to say what it is. I think you guys will recognize it when we get there. I'm very excited about it. And technically, on the surface, it may not seem like an unsolved mystery, but technically, it is. So, I'm thrilled.
I, on the other hand, have stolen Jess's format from last season. Mine is one topic that I am covering all 3 of my episodes on, and I'm not going to say what it is,
Oh, I'm
but
so
I will
excited.
say that I am too. It's a story that's captivated me for almost my entire life.
All right.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that's...
As
It's been
growing
the-
up as an
it's-
American girl, like, yeah.
Like, this has
Damn.
been, like, the thing looming over my head for a long time. And a lot of people are going to... They're going to be receptive of it.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Dougie,
I'm
do
so
you have
excited.
it? Do you know what you're doing, Dougie?
No.
No, he ain't got a fucking clue.
Ryan, do you know what you're doing?
I know what I'm doing. Yes, I do know what I'm doing. I don't think I'm going to do it across 3 different episodes. I'm going to limit it to just 1, depending on how much research goes into it. It is a big one for the UK. I can't believe I didn't think of this one when I was first initially like looking into them, because it's so fucking obvious when you think about it. But yeah, I don't know if you'll know it. I'm not sure, but it is one of the top unsolved. But it's like going off what you just said, Amber, as well. It's solved, but it's also unsolved as well. That's what I'm looking forward to with mine. Is the fact that they know so much, but then
Are you doing Madeline McCann?
No.
Oh, Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, I'm still in Dougie from the last season.
Honestly, I mean, if we're trying to
Doing
rake
the British
in
version.
listeners,
Yeah.
if we're trying to rake in listeners, you might do Madeline McCann. I don't know. That's an intriguing one, but
Very,
It's
very interesting.
interesting.
It is very. I could if I get caught short on my 3rd episode, I might just rake in some research from Madeleine McCann.
I will have to warn you though. I've watched a lot of Madeline McCann stuff, so if you do
You
that,
will know
I
more
might
about
be
it than I
stepping in
will.
to correct you a little
Yeah,
bit.
you will know.
But I'm kind of like nervous about Amber's
What do you mean a little
because
bit?
like I'm kind of nervous about Amber's because when she told me her topic, I was like, like her topic is like she said. I think that if you grew up as an American girl our age, then you're very familiar with her topic, like super familiar with it, and it's one of those things. It feels like we almost kind of like we're born knowing about because
Right.
it's been a mainstay in our lives for as long as we can remember.
I'm now trying to think of an American
And
unsolved
it's-
mystery that
And it's
that we're
such...
kind of
It's
meant to know.
such... And it's such... It's clouded with so much skepticism, too. And, like,
Yes.
there's so many different directions that it could possibly go, and absolutely
I'm so
almost
thrilled.
all of it makes sense.
I'm so
So...
I'm gonna like this
But
season.
no, when I found out what Amber's was, it was kind of like me and her were on the opposite ends of the spectrum with it. It's like she grew up with her parents fully exposing her to it, whereas I grew up only really, like, I knew very little because my parents kept it from me because they didn't want me to grow up scared of that kind of stuff. Like, they thought it was too much for a little kid.
Shout out to my therapist. Hi, Miss Kim.
Yeah, so like, once I found out this was Amber's topic, I was like, like, I know very little about it, just, like, the big details, so, like, let me do some, so I cheated a little bit. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about it, and doing my own research, and watching documentaries and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to get to Amber's episodes, but also I'm very fearful that I will be like, but what about this part?
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely ask me those questions. Because there is probably shit that I'm missing just because there is so much information.
Oh my God, there really is. I feel for you. This is a burden to take on, for sure. But anyway, I will go ahead and get started before we start, losing listener retention.
Because we're just raving about
jabbering
it.
on.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with a local one for me and Amber. Mine is about the disappearance of Tabitha Goins. She, as of this month, she would be 40 years old, and she is a missing person from the Hope Mills area in, like, it's kind of like it's on the outskirts of Fayetteville, the greater Fayetteville area. Hope Mills, just a small town. But yeah, she was from Hope Mills. She has 4 children. She was most recently described physically as being a light-skinned indigenous woman, 5'3", weighs around 110 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. She has been missing since November of 2019. I had the pleasure and luck of being able to speak to someone who was one of her good friends since childhood. They grew up together, basically. They went to church together. They did all their crazy teenager stuff together, but they kind of, like, fell apart in adult years, like, later on. But I still managed to get, some pretty useful information from that person who, by the way, is Jennifer Henson, who's my cousin's wife. So, Jennifer, if you're listening, thank you for your help. I've been planning this one for 7 months.
Wow.
And in the Fayetteville area, there is a Facebook group to kind of spread awareness about Tabitha's disappearance. And when I decided that I wanted to cover this, the reason that I decided to cover this is because I felt like there hasn't been a lot of media attention on it for whatever reason. I feel, generally speaking, I'm not saying that this is pointed toward Tabitha or anything specific to her, but I feel, generally speaking, when a crime against a non-white person happens, specifically an indigenous woman in North Carolina, which the statistics I will later get to, an indigenous woman, maybe someone who doesn't have the cleanest track record, someone who maybe grew up on the wrong side of the tracks, maybe someone who got involved with sex work or drugs or, whatever. Like I said, this is general. This is not in regards to Tabitha necessarily, but I feel like those kind of factors affect police interest in cases where someone disappears off the face of the earth. I don't know if any of those factors were in play with the police, but anyone in Fayetteville will tell you that it's obvious there's a lack of attention on her case.
That's so fucked.
And it's absolutely abysmal. It's terrible. Because it is an open and ongoing investigation, I'm gonna try to tiptoe. I'm not gonna try to speculate or accuse or point any fingers at anyone or anything like that. Everything at this point is alleged. So it's like, I don't want to interfere with anything. And when I first decided to pursue this topic, one, like, I wanted to bring public awareness to it. Because, not to toot our own horns here, but Jarred has reach. We just talked about this before going into recording. Jarred has reach. We have red hot spots of listeners on every fucking continent in the world.
It's scary.
And I wanted to get her story
A little
out
bit.
to whoever is listening in the world, anyone who can help or give any sort of direction, clue, anything like that. Because if the cops aren't going to do it, someone has to. So in January, I reached out to the Facebook page to say, hey, I have a podcast. Also, again, not to toot my own horn, but my podcast, we've got more than 10,000 downloads. We've been heard in, 24 or more different countries. We have crazy reach. I would love to cover Tabitha's story on my podcast because I feel like everyone needs to be aware. And they got back to me. The page is run by her mother. And, she's like, yeah, we can definitely do that. Just let me know. I'm like, okay, well, I do need a couple months. I'm like, the episode probably won't come out until this summer. So I need a couple months to kind of get my shit together, get my questions together, figure out what I can and can't ask. But she was open to it, very open to it. And then a couple months later, when I finally had my shit together, I reached back out. But her family, I don't want to say too much. There are some things with the investigation that are currently ongoing that takes up all of their time, basically.
Right.
So unfortunately, I didn't score the interview with her mom, which was a loss, but I understand.
Yeah.
I totally understand. And before I get into any more details, I do want to try my best. I'm going to try my hardest not to swear so much in this episode because I do want to deliver this in a way that's dignified and respectful of Tabitha and her family. And I want to be as informational as possible. So there are the dates are a little foggy. There are some details that are a little foggy. When I was doing my research on this, I Googled her. Maybe the first page of Google was about her. Like, it was articles about her, and that was it. That was the only coverage. Just maybe even, like, only 3/4 of the first page. And all the articles were the same. None of them had different information than any of the other ones. There were, like, small details that conflicted, but overall the same stuff. So, November 21st, 2019, there's a report that says this is the date that Tabitha was last seen. And according to the reports, what happened was that she was at her boyfriend's home that night in Grays Creek, which is like Amber, it's not even a township. It's kind of like an area outside of Hope Mills, I think.
Would you call it like a district or a...
Maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's a weird situation, but it's adjacent to, like, it's Hope Mills, Fayetteville, like, outskirts. It's Grays Creek. But her boyfriend lived out there, and supposedly, allegedly, what happened that night was she was at her boyfriend's house off of Highway 87 in Grays Creek, and ALE, which, Amber, correct me if I'm wrong, that's alcohol... What is it? Alcohol... That's not law enforcement, is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's alcohol, like alcohol and tobacco, like law enforcement, whatever.
Okay.
ALE.
Okay.
Yeah.
Close enough. So, allegedly, ALE did a raid on the boyfriend's house that night while they were there.
Right.
And according to what her boyfriend says, when they saw the cops show up, they went out the back door, fled into the woods behind the house, and I guess, from what I'm gathering from this, they sat in the woods and waited for the cops to leave. And then when he turned around to go back to the house, Tabitha was gone. Just disappeared into thin air.
Right.
According to reports, the last time she communicated with her parents was via text message. But this is where, like I said, the dates are a little foggy, because this report said the last text message sent to her parents was on November 23rd. So it's like if she went missing, then she she went missing between November 21st and 24th, basically. Like I said, these reports are strange. But she was apparently last seen wearing leopard print leggings and a black shirt, and Nike Air Max tennis shoes. And then on November 25th, that's when she was reported missing. About a month later, in December, news came out that police were executing a search warrant at her boyfriend's house. And in that search, they were able to locate her glasses, pocket knife, and wallet. Which, according to Jennifer Henson, the friend that I spoke to about this, apparently, all due respect, Tabitha was blind as a fucking bat. So, this is, like I said, this is just from what Jennifer said. Jennifer believes Tabitha never left the house that night.
Right.
Because she said that they found her glasses in the woods. Tabitha, she basically said Tabitha couldn't really even walk without her glasses. So, for her to take off and leave her glasses behind, it's not, just not possible. So she believes Tabitha never actually left the house. According to an article that was published, let me cite my sources: abc11.com, 6abc.com, wrl.com, cbs17.com, ncmissingpersons.org, blueridgenow.com. So, according to one of the articles in one of these sources, her father, Frank, said that Tabitha had recently gotten involved with drugs and had been in trouble with the law the night that she went missing. So, this brings us back to what I mentioned earlier, where if it's a situation where drugs are a factor, then that somehow takes the missing person down on the priority list for the police. It's like they're less of a human being somehow.
That pisses me off.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, things took a turn in February of 2020. Tabitha had been previously married to Anthony Goins. I don't think they were divorced yet. I think they were estranged, and she was dating this other guy, Dennis. But so in February, Dennis, the boyfriend, I've got conflicting reports on this too. I do apologize, but according to this report, Dennis saw Anthony, the husband, walking along Highway 87 one night, and he said something like, "I heard you've been looking for me," and told him to get in the car. Okay? And I will mention that, oh fuck, where am I? I'm sorry. The story is a mess. So, the husband gets in the car with the boyfriend, and at some point, I don't know, no one has released the information that transpired in the car when these two were together. No one knows what the conversation was, no one knows what provoked anything, but at some point, Anthony, the husband, he presents, I think it was like a straight razor, or like a box cutter, or some sort of razor blade situation.
Sharpie thingy.
And goes fucking bananas on the boyfriend. Almost kills him. Like,
What?
cuts his throat, just like cuts this dude all to shit. Actually almost kills the boyfriend. And to this day, information has still not been released about what provoked that. And I'll go ahead and let you guys know right now that at the time that Tabitha went missing, her husband Anthony is not a suspect because he was incarcerated when she disappeared.
Oh.
And he had just recently gotten out when this altercation with the boyfriend happened. So he basically got out of jail, heard his baby mama / estranged wife is missing. I don't know what he was walking along Highway 87 for that night. Part of me wonders if he was out there looking for Tabitha himself because he knew that's where she was last seen. I don't know. I know nothing about that. But I don't know. I don't know if he felt like the boyfriend had something to do with it and just went at him. I don't know if the boyfriend, made a remark to imply he had something to do with it, and then he went at him. Anyway, almost kills the guy. According to authorities, he had gotten in the car with the boyfriend to discuss her disappearance. Obviously, why else would he get in the car with
Of course,
him?
yes.
Like, Come on. And according to Tabitha's father, Frank, the boyfriend would not take a polygraph test and quickly lawyered up. Which, lawyering up quickly, while it is a smart thing to do, it also doesn't make you look innocent exactly.
Yeah, it's...
Right, like
It's a double-edged sword.
It inadvertently implies that you might have information that is helpful.
You've got something
and
to
why
hide.
would you have that information?
Yeah, it's the same when immediately... What gets me is when people immediately say, yeah, I'm not taking a polygraph test. It's like, okay, what are you hiding? Immediately red flags and alarm bells.
Yes.
Which I will say, if I'm not mistaken, just correct me if I'm wrong, but even... a lot of polygraph, even when it comes to like the court system, a lot of courts don't even accept polygraph.
It's inadmissible in court.
Yeah. So why not even just do it? Just do it.
Right. And I know this is real life and you can't, compare to TV, but every time you watch a crime show on TV or a movie or something, it's like when someone gets asked an uncomfortable question, that's when they're like, I want a lawyer.
Yeah. Because
or
it's
a question they don't want to answer.
It's basic human reaction. It's like when somebody says no comment, it's like, okay, so you've got a comment. Like
or I plead the fifth. Like, come on.
Yeah. You know something.
It's just a weird situation. And then there was this surge of information that came out between November and February between the initial disappearance and the attack. Like, I remember when I read about that attack happening, I was like, oh shit, we're getting somewhere. Like, something's gonna come out now. I mean, someone's gonna say what happened to her or where she is or something. Because it just seemed like tensions after that obviously were at an all-time high. And then nothing. There have been few and far between. Probably I can count on one hand how many articles have actually been posted about Tabitha in the media since the February altercation in 2020. So, where was I? Sorry. According to Tabitha's dad, Frank, the boyfriend also told him that his house got raided that night by ALE, and, they went to the woods, and when they turned back, she was gone. And then he says that he went to a neighbor's house to call a friend to pick him up. And the woods have since been searched 3 times, and they've not found anything regarding her being there besides what they found in the initial search warrant with, like, her glasses. Other than that, there's not really any evidence that she was in the woods.
All right.
Her mom, when I spoke with her, because I did mention the lack of awareness on this case, her mom, she believes that the police don't care either. The whole family feels that the police don't care about this. There's no sense of urgency in finding her. So that's sad. But I mean, one of the things that I want the listeners to draw from this is that Tabitha is more than a missing person. She is she's a real human being with real feelings and emotions and experiences, and I just want people to view her as more than a missing person.
Yeah.
Or as more than whatever her flaws were. She's a woman, she's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a beloved family member.
Yeah.
And she's a human life. So
I think that's what
Absolutely.
Completely. I feel a lot of people get lost in the sense of when they just see, as soon as it's a missing person's case and people just see the words or hear the words missing person, it also just puts I don't know if stigma is the right word over it, but it immediately puts this cover over it as if to say, and you do forget that it is an actual person, like you say. It's a daughter, it's a sister, it's a mother, it is all of that, and I feel, it sucks.
it's just
That, and I think too, sometimes, especially when it comes to missing people, like, I think that there is some type of, like, some subconscious thinking that wants you want to believe that in humanity that, you know, some people aren't, you know, capable of doing such horrible acts, or some
Yeah.
people aren't capable of, and it's just, then you want to, and then some people take it to the degree, well, I'm going to give a narrative as to why this person just disappeared on their own accord. And that's not always the case. Like, sometimes a runaway is not a fucking runaway.
Yeah.
Like, it's take action. Like, and I'll speak for I'll speak as a citizen of the area that we're in. I mean, there have been fucking, I can't tell you how many missing, especially children, young children, missing person cases or runaway. And the time from the last being seen to where they might post it on Facebook, where a lot of people would get the attention from it, I mean, it's days, if not weeks in between. And it's like, if that person's been missing for so long, why are y'all just now saying something? And I'm kind of with Jess and the family on this one. I have a feeling that if you are of a certain color, if you are from a certain background, if you are from a certain area, that cops around here just don't take it seriously. They write it off as, oh, that's probably just a runaway. Oh, that's probably, and without even knowing the person that is in danger, they'll assume the absolute worst before they actually do some fucking work to get them help and get them found.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And another fun, well, not fun fact, I said that sarcastically, but I know that I told you guys about this previously, but I'll go ahead and let our listeners know about this as well. I had a bit of a strange experience with Randonautica a couple of months ago, which, if you're listening and you don't know what that is, it's this app that you download. I guess you could best describe it as a manifestation scavenger hunt. Basically, you activate the app, you think about something that you want to find, or like, it's supposed to go based on, I guess, emotion or feeling. Like, I want to find something happy, or I want to find something sad or scary, something like that. And I tried that, which I've never actually gone randonauting before, because I've heard a lot of sketchy shit about it. I mean, fucking
I've
refer
seen
back
a few
to
videos on that, and yeah, it's a bit dodgy.
like,
Yeah.
refer back to last year when there was, I think, a couple of kids in like California or something, and Randonautica led them to some dismembered bodies in suitcases
That were
along
in,
the
like,
shoreline.
yeah, in suitcases. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've never actually been randonauting, but I got curious, and I went on there and I was like, I want to find money. I want to find wealth. And like, like a half a dozen times I tried it, and it kept pinpointing people's houses in my neighborhood. I'm like, listen, Randonautica, I'm not going to fucking rob someone. Thanks.
I'm not robbing
bye.
people.
And then I went on the Randonautica tag on TikTok just to see what other people were manifesting while using the app, or, you know, trying to manifest, to see if I could do something similar. And I opened the comment section on one video, and it was like, does this work on missing persons? Because I know this girl in my town has been missing forever, and, you know, we have no idea what happened to her. And I'm like, man, that's an idea. So I opened up Randonautica, and I started thinking as it was loading, I'm like, Tabitha Goins location, like, just nonstop. And it took forever for this app to load. Like, I thought it was frozen. I was about to force close it on my phone, and then finally it loaded. And I'm not going to say the location that it gave me. I will say that it is very convenient to her last known location. Extremely close. Walking distance from her last known location. I have not yet been out there because it has literally been raining every other day this summer for the last 2 or 3 months, and the only way to get to that area is a four-wheeler or ATV trail that every time it rains just a little bit, the trail's flooded. It's inaccessible. Which I'm like, well, if you were gonna get rid of somebody, that's kind of the perfect spot, because no one can get back there.
Yeah.
At all. Especially if it's inclement weather. So, I have yet to go check it out. Been rained out every time. But I did get in contact with someone else who was present, or is presently close with Tabitha, like, in their, adult years. It's one of her best friends. And I reached out to this person. I'm like, listen, you're going to think that I am absolutely bananas for this. I'm like, I know you don't know me. I'm like, but I just tried this app and this is what it told me, and it's creeping me out because it's weird. Because it's literally like right in this spot, and I know she was last seen here. I'm like, so do you think there's any chance? I'm like, has that area been searched that you know of? And she was like, she told me straight up, she was like, the police only searched the boyfriend's yard and the woods right behind.
Fuck.
And that they know of, have not searched anywhere else.
Enough said.
So yeah, I don't think I need to emphasize that anymore. So yeah, like I said, I haven't been able to get it out there yet. I'm waiting for it to dry up a little bit over here, but it's been weighing pretty heavy. I will add that in my research, I did look at the statistics for missing Indigenous women in North Carolina, because we've had a lot of Indigenous women get either murdered or go missing here, especially in Lumberton, which is about 20-30 minutes south of Fayetteville. Lumberton is a garbage trash place that just, it sucks. There are currently, there's like a serial killer there. I mean, my God, there were 3 women killed back to back to back a couple of years ago, and no one still knows who did that. And what's crazy is in that particular set of women, one of the women actually went on the news to talk about one of the other women who had gotten murdered. And then she turned up dead after the interview.
Well, that's just fucked up.
And they still haven't solved it. And they also have another missing Indigenous woman in Lumberton that's been missing for a couple of years. Abby Patterson? Is that, Amber, do you know? Abby Patterson? I'm sorry about getting her name wrong. But and that's not been closed or solved or anything like that. It seems like the police don't care about that one whatsoever. It's bonkers. So I looked at this.
If you truly want any idea of the history of police force in Lumberton, there is a document on the IMDb app, and it's about the murder of Michael Jordan's father, which happened in Lumberton.
Yep.
His car was found in Cumberland County.
Yep.
And yeah, that was a whole shit show years ago, and that documentary actually dives into the politics and policing within the Lumberton Police Department, and it's a ride.
Terrible. Do you that little girl? I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, Hania Aguilar, the little girl that got ripped out of her front yard in broad daylight.
Jesus.
And then it's like
waiting for the bus.
Yeah, and then. How long was it? Was weeks or a couple of months? I don't remember the time. I followed it so closely,
honestly, it may have been a week at the most. I think is when
they found her deceased. They know they have the guy who did it, but it took way too long. I remember when that happened and her disappearance was reported, and it was one of the biggest things about that case was the police response time.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that wasn't even it.
To when they showed up.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, and then I think something having to do with the guy, he was out and he really should not have been fucking out. He was out on probation or something, and I think that he had previous maybe sexual assault charges. I could be very wrong in what I'm saying, but if I am remembering correctly.
Lumberton is a terrible place. I know we talk a lot of shit about Fayetteville, but as big of an armpit as Fayetteville is, Lumberton is the swamp ass that follows.
Correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the first 24 or 48 hours the most...
First 48.
The most important... hours with a missing persons. Yeah, I thought as much. So the fact that
after 48 hours, your likelihood of finding the person that you are looking for alive drops significantly.
I say, doesn't it drop like
Drastically.
80%?
Don't
or something?
most police won't really recognise them as a missing person till after 24?
Yeah, they have. Yeah,
Yes.
they say if you try
Yeah.
to report somebody, they're like, oh no, you need to wait at least 12, 24 hours.
Yeah.
So
Bitch, no,
imagine my
I'm telling-
surprise when you're getting on the fucking
Yeah.
Fayetteville Police Department Facebook page and they're posting missing kids and they're saying, oh, last known date of, last seen. And it's fucking, today's August 14th and their last known date of being seen was fucking July 28th? Why are you just now saying something?
Yes.
One last thing I'll say about Hania is that while not indigenous, she was Hispanic. So there's another little thing to chew on with the Lumberton Police Department just to bring,
Nice.
more,
Nice.
So yeah, but North Carolina is home to roughly 122,000 indigenous peoples. That is the largest population east of the Mississippi River.
I'm one of them.
Yes. According to our Governor Cooper, studies show that the American Indian women are more than 3 times as vulnerable to violent crimes and twice as likely to be raped as women of other races. In North Carolina, roughly 90 cases of missing or murdered indigenous women dating back to 1994 remain unsolved.
Wow.
Bloody hell.
Within Native communities, there is an ancient tendency to handle problems within the tribe rather than seek outside help. And as a result of this, a lot of crimes actually go unreported. So there's probably way more missing or murdered indigenous women than we're even aware of
So.
here. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, 2017, 3 Lumberton women were found dead within 4 blocks of each other, and 2 of the women were indigenous. And there are 5 women that remain either missing person cases or unsolved murders since 2017 in the same area of Lumberton.
Jesus.
In the U.S., there is an epidemic of missing and murdered indigenous women. More than 80% of American Indian and Alaska Native women have experienced violence, and more than half have experienced sexual violence.
Ugh.
And in a lot of these cases, because many tribes are not federally recognized, these cases are often left out of federal databases.
Hi, I'm also one of the tribes that are not federally recognized either.
So yeah, I don't know. My gut is telling me that with Tabitha, something weird went on with the boyfriend. I'm not saying
That's
I'm
your
not gonna
opinion.
sit here. It is my opinion based on the very little that is known about this case, and it happens to be that a very high percentage of missing or murdered partners' spouses, the other partner had something to do with it. Very high percentage.
You do find that to be the way, yeah.
It's like 9 out of 10. So,
they call them the usual suspects, and that's for a reason.
Yeah, it's like we're not, like you say, we're not pointing fingers or naming names because it is an open, active investigation, like you say.
right.
But the evidence does point to the boyfriend.
Which it's weird because according to one of my sources, they believe that, I don't know if the entire family believes this or if it's just this one person or if it's, I don't know who all believes it. But according to this person, they believe that the boyfriend may have accidentally hurt or murdered Tabitha and then panicked to dispose of her remains.
Again, you often find that to be
what confuses me is that ALE raided his house, and if she was in there deceased, how did he hide her in such a way that they wouldn't have found her when they raided the house? That's
right.
That's what sticks with me. And I also I wasn't able to figure it out. I wasn't able to get answers on it, but I also wanted to try to get an answer as to who last saw her walking on Highway 87. Like, is that something the boyfriend said, or did someone actually see her walking along Highway 87? Because if someone else saw her, then that means that she made it out of the house and out of the yard and to the highway.
Yeah.
But if it's the boyfriend that said that, that's hearsay. There's nothing to prove that.
So was there any
So-
proof that he got raided? Like, is there any evidence that the raid actually happened?
I don't know. I saw that published in most articles, the few articles that I found. So, I'm assuming if we're looking at fact-based reporting, they probably did check into it, maybe. But
Hold on.
I don't know.
Hold on. So he was saying he was raided, and that's just going off of what he said. That's not actually come from Federals themselves.
Which the article that she read from probably might state that he said he was raided.
Oh.
I cannot, because I don't have all the articles in front of
That's
me.
what I
That
was
just,
just-
okay.
My notes just say that there were, according to reports, she was fleeing from a home on Highway 87 in Grays Creek during a raid by ALE agents. Which I'm sure if that was his story, then, well, it depends. If the cops don't care, then they don't care. But, I mean, if that was his story, and, you know, I'm sure that they would look into it.
I
if that's
suppose
what
the
he
cops would have
claimed,
come
I
forward
would
and say we
assume.
didn't raid it or something like that. Yeah.
They would admit.
I was about to say, you would think that an agency would have confirmed or denied at least that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And honestly,
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't say this, but another one of my sources said that they don't know how he got away scot-free in that raid. They could not believe that there was nothing found in the ALE raid at his house. Because
Which would lead you to even speculate.
According to this source, he was a sketchy character.
Here's the thing.
Like,
So that would even lead you to speculate even more if the raid happened, because to be sure,
say to
if he's that type of dude and an actual raid happened, something would have turned
I was just about
up.
to say
Yeah.
you wouldn't be raided unless you were known for having stuff you know for needing
unless
to
he
be
was
raided.
used to raids and he knew where to hide his shit. I don't know.
Hiding it in plain
do not
sight
know,
is
but-
as the old saying goes.
If
Well, if
police
that
did
was
their
the
due
case, then
diligence
why
and
would he
followed
run?
up on it,
Yeah.
If he knew where to hide the stuff, that he knew they would never find
I
it,
don't know.
why run?
If they did find anything, I don't know if they did or not, because it honestly did not specify what came of the raid. So maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. All I know about this dude now is that he is a ghost, and no one can find him.
Another suspicion to the pile right there. Well, one thing
Yep.
that you said at the very beginning, which I'm still hung up on, is the fact that they both, according to his story, both ran out into the yard and out into the woods behind to wait it out. I'm sorry, but if I was in those shoes where I was fleeing with somebody else to hide whilst being raided, like hiding from an agency or something, I can't imagine for 1 second that I wouldn't be not talking to that other person, or at least have visuals on them so I knew where my partner in
Right.
crime was. And all of a sudden for him to turn around and say, oh, I just turned around and she's gone. What? Like,
My thought with it is if she truly was witnessed by someone other than him walking along the highway, my theory, like I said, this is theory, just speculation. My theory would be that she dipped out when the raid happened, supposedly.
yeah.
And when it was over, he went to go find her. Maybe he got upset that she betrayed him or, like, ditched him and hurt her. That would have been my thought. If someone had actually seen her walking along the highway, it's like, okay, maybe he went looking for her, picked her
Maybe
up,
so.
was like, hey, what the fuck, you bailed on me? Like,
Yeah.
what are you? Like, you're a traitor. Maybe he was upset and I don't know. But I
just
don't
a-
know if someone actually saw her.
Just another train of thought. Where were her glasses found, did you say?
They said that they found
In
her
the house
glasses,
or
her
in the
pocket
woods?
knife, and her wallet in the woods.
Oh, I thought it was in the house.
Oh, it was in the
No,
woods.
In the woods.
Oh.
Just throwing a theory out. Like you said, she was seen walking, someone supposedly saw her walking on a highway. And you said that's, her friend said that without her glasses, she can't see anything, basically.
Right.
So if she'd somehow stumbled, lost her glasses and lost her way, she's not going to be able to see anything. She's found a road and was just walking along it. What's the possibilities that she's had an accident on her own because she couldn't see what she was doing, nighttime or daytime, whether
That is another
regardless.
thought that has
Yeah.
been.
And if she was walking on the highway, she's again doesn't have her glasses, can't see, thinks that maybe she's getting in the car with someone she recognizes, and then gets in the car with someone that is not a friend to her at all.
Exactly.
That's
the thing about 87. I did my research on 87 for this one too. Highway 87, it spans nearly the entire state of North Carolina going north to south. It is about 236 miles long, the north end being in Eden near Virginia, and the south end being in Southport, which is a beach town, so it's the coast.
Oh.
So, it's like there are things that would incline you to think that maybe this was a highway pickup gone wrong. Like a shady trucker or something picked her up and took her away, did something with her. Which it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys have heard it referenced as such, but it's called Occam's razor, and it's basically the easiest solution is the most likely solution. So basically, whatever the most obvious is probably what it is. And in this situation, with everything with her boyfriend, the confrontation between the husband and the boyfriend, the boyfriend disappearing off the radar, no one knowing where he is, him, refusing to polygraph and lawyering up. I don't care if anyone thinks that's super smart. It's also super shady. All of these things and his story and everything, it's like he is the most likely cause of whatever happened to her.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be
an
anything,
opinion.
But yes, and that is my opinion. It could be anything, but according to Occam's razor, it's her boyfriend, allegedly. But just speculating here.
Well, hopefully one day we do find out the actual truth.
I'm scared to go out to that Rando Nautica location.
So,
I take it with a
just
grain
out
of
of
salt,
curiosity-
but at the same time, I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's weird.
how far away was Highway 87 from her, from the house?
From the
The
house
her
is
boyfriend's
right
house.
on Highway 87.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
And
literally right.
From
Like
that
Highway
random
87 is a
Nautica
4-lane,
location.
less than 10 minutes. I think it was 7 or 8 miles. Not far at all.
Just
Highway 87. It's like a 4-lane. It's a 4-lane highway. It's not like an interstate, but it's a highway. And yeah, the boyfriend's house. It's right there on the highway.
Just a quick question.
And they recently. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ryan.
No, no.
They recently excavated, I think, another building on his property because there was suspicion that he had buried her. I think maybe under that building on his property, but they didn't find anything there either. They're hard focused on the boyfriend.
I mean,
cannot find anything.
What I love about the fact about him even more, well, I don't love, that's the wrong word to use, but the fact that he is now a ghost even more so, like you say, how he's just kind of like gone off the grid almost. I just find that even all the more
telling.
Yeah, because you wouldn't do that unless. I mean, I get
you had something to run from.
I mean, on one hand, I get that you would want to be out of the limelight of the situation, so you don't look suspicious, because he could be genuinely innocent. We don't know, but he is looking guilty as fuck. But also at the same time, you'd want to stay ghost out of it as well. So if you were hiding something as well, it's just.
I will say, the source that I spoke with, who had told me that the police had only searched his house, I found this source because I decided to do some digging into the boyfriend myself, because you guys know I have a subscription to a background check software, because I'm a fucking weirdo.
Well.
Anyway, I decided to look into him, and in my search, I found this source who had posted in a forum that we're actually both in that I had no idea about, because I don't know this person personally, but I was like, huh, that's weird. Like, they had posted in the forum, hey, it's one of those where you can reach out to strangers on the internet and be like, hey, I have questions about this person's background and, like, if, you know, who they really are, and I need help finding them or something like that. And that person had posted about him in this forum and was like, I need help locating this person. His last known location is yada, yada, yada. His name is blah, blah, blah. And that's how I reached out to that person. I was like, hey, I saw your post in this forum. Is this about Tabitha's boyfriend? And they were like, yeah, how do you know about that? I'm like, well, let me introduce myself. So, yeah, it was strange. So, I don't know. I don't know. And, I lurked one of his social media profiles. I won't say which.
Of course you did.
Lurked one of those. Went back to the time frame that Tabitha went missing, and he shared one post about her being missing, like maybe 2 days later, and then nothing ever again. Like, he had shared the missing poster, like, a couple days after she went missing, and then nothing else.
Oh, it's right there, isn't it?
And his social media was fairly public. Like, I mean, I wouldn't know if I was not seeing things, but I feel like if he had posted or shared that post multiple times, I would see it, since I saw it at least the one time.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. Not looking great for him, but then
No.
again, is it not? Because he's gotten away with it for this long if he did it.
So it probably is looking good for him.
So yeah, I wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to shed light on that case, and I will definitely post a picture of Tabitha on Jared's Instagram account so that people know what she looks like.
Yeah.
And can keep an eye out. And we'll post something with contact information on there. They have the poster out. The family has it. They've got it circulating, so I'm assuming I can mention it on here. They do have PI David Marshburn involved with this case, who you guys are probably not familiar with, but he is a heavy hitter PI. Families only get PIs when cops don't care.
I remember you telling me about it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
David Marshburn, for our listeners, actually located the missing and eventually deceased soldier Kelly Bordeaux in Fayetteville several years ago. And the ways, oh my God, Amber, did you watch the date? I think it was a Dateline about him.
Yes, it was Dateline.
Oh
yes,
my God. The way
how he got that information
it was nuts. So
it was.
I'll just skim over it real quick so you guys understand what we're working with this David Marshburn guy. It's like, it was nuts. So Kelly Bordeaux, she went missing from a bar in 2012. About a year later, her body was found in the woods off the highway, just miles up from the bar. And the way that she was discovered was because the family brought in David Marshburn to investigate. And he basically had a suspicion about one of the bar hands or like one of the bartenders or something. And he decided to go for it. It was like a gut feeling for him. And he buddied up with this guy. He earned his trust and his friendship over the course of months and months and months. And he just let it build up.
Wow.
And he
Like,
just would
to the
like
point-
slightly press this guy like nonstop without him knowing it, until one day it's like he hit a point of pressure with him and the guy just cracked.
Wow.
Like,
and told him everything.
When Jess said that he was
Right.
buddy with him, like, she's not kidding. He would drop whatever he was doing at the hat if the guy called or texted him.
Yes.
If the guy asked for money, Marshburn gave him fucking money. Like,
Wow.
He was in it, like committed.
he was invested in this case. And he basically got him to do a written confession that he had convinced him was going to be helpful because he was like, man, the police are drawing in on you, but if you sign this confession, this affidavit, what the fuck ever.
And it was fake.
He was like, it was fake. It was absolute bullshit.
It was not a real affidavit.
Wow.
He just put light pressure on this guy for so long that it finally, like I said, it just built up one day, and the guy told him everything that happened.
Wow.
And took him right to where he left Kelly's body.
This guy's no way.
So yeah, the family, they now have David Marshburn on the case, so I'm hoping that yields some answers because he is nuts, banana crazy, like with finding people. I think he said he spent like what, Amber? It was tens of thousands of dollars of his own money on the Kelly Bordeaux search. So
I can't quite remember what he said, but yeah,
I feel like he said like $20,000 of his own money. On that one.
He invests
Far out.
all his time and energy into doing shit like this. So
the
fact that he's looking at the Tabitha Goins case is probably a good sign that some results will be yielded.
Yes. And no offense to David Marshburn, I think he's an admirable, great, intelligent, just sharp as a tack dude. He did not look like what I thought he was going to look like. I was expecting the who was the old guy from Jurassic Park, the white hair and the white, I kind of expected him to look like that, like an old seasoned, old school detective, and then he gets on Dateline and he kind of honestly looks like a yee country boy from Fayetteville. But just an amazing dude, so I'm absolutely thrilled that he's on the case. Anyway, my point in mentioning that was that
he's a good old boy.
Oh yeah, when I post the information about Tabitha, there will be information as to how to contact David Marshburn if you do have any information regarding Tabitha or her disappearance. Because they don't want you to call the cops, because the cops don't care.
No.
And that, my friends, is the disappearance of Tabitha Goins.
Wow.
What a hell of a start to a season 5, boys.
We said we're coming in with a bang, and we brought it. Well, Jess brought it. Well done, Jess.
I feel I'm going to let the team down. Holy shit.
Not at all. Hey, looking at the analytics before we started recording, did you notice I was the only person not on the top list?
Was Area 51 your episode? Because that was like our least streamed on Spotify.
Yes, Area 51 was mine.
Yeah.
It is the bottom of the list. So, Dougie...
They said, I'm not listening to that British bastard for an hour.
So, Dougie, don't worry. I'm going to let the team down.
Hey, I came in... My episode came in 4th, so...
Yeah.
Well, one of mine, anyway.
Yeah, I was bottom, okay? It can't get any worse than that.
I'm so excited about my 3rd episode. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do for my 2nd episode, but I am so excited for my last episode of the season. I feel like, oh God, I want to tell you guys so bad. I feel like if the boys are not familiar with it, it's going to blow their mind holes. Because it's an American
I probably
one.
will anyway.
So
I really want to know.
But the thing is, I'm
going to tell you.
The thing is, I'm really uncultured and uneducated as we know. But with Unsolved Mysteries and shit like that, I'm all over a lot of them because I just love them so much.
I'm nervous.
I'm so excited.
But the one I'm doing,
Yes,
bitch. Like it's a really popular one, but yeah, I don't know enough about it myself. So
oh,
come on, don't do that, because now I'm intrigued.
Oh, that one's gonna throw them for a fucking loop,
thing is,
right? If they don't know about it already, I'll be surprised if they don't know about it already.
We're not gonna
but
find
if
out
they
for another
don't, they're gonna be like,
because I mean,
we're not gonna find out for another 5
because I mean,
weeks.
I know
wait
mine
for
will, but they're that
a long
definitely.
time.
Oh,
Yeah, 5 weeks before
We've got a
we
couple
know.
of months.
dude, I've already
No, it'd be
done
more
all
than
my
that, 'cause that's her
research.
last
I've
one.
watched everything. I've listened to
Oh
everything.
God, so 2
Yeah.
months. You need to wait 2 months.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
All my research is already done and organized. Like it is so weighty. You know what? Maybe instead of worrying about my 2nd episode, I could split it into my 2nd and 3rd.
ooh, you could,
Because
you
it's
really
a
could.
lot.
Yes, you should,
It's a
because we
lot.
get to know sooner.
especially if
Don't be
you
selfish,
do like
Ryan.
an update. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, I'm being selfish.
Or I could split it into the mystery part and then the. I can't say this without giving it away.
Yeah,
away.
don't.
Once again with Jarred, we plan whilst on air.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll split it into 2 and 3.
Yeah. You could with that
It's
subject.
a weighty one. It's not quite as meaty as yours, but it's pretty meaty.
And you will hear mine next week.
Yeah.
Yay!
And mine will span over all 3 of my episodes for this season. So the only thing that I'm going to say about the next episode you're going to hear is that I am setting the entire scene.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm
From
so
start
excited.
to finish.
I like it. I like it already.
I'm so excited. Well, I'll go ahead and, if you guys, do you have any questions, comments, concerns, likes, dislikes, well, get the fuck over it. I guess I'll start closing it out then, if that's all.
I have no further comment.
Do I remember how to close this out? My God, it's been half a year.
Oh, damn.
You go to our website. What's our website? jarredpodcast.com?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't remember.
I've forgotten all of our social links.
Make sure you're following us on all the social medias.
What are our tags?
They're probably listed on the website.
Is it our Twitter is at JarredOfficial. Our Instagram is it at JarredPodcast?
At Jarred.podcast.
Jarred.
No,
Yeah,
I took the dot out.
You put the dot out. Oh, okay. So it's
yeah,
just
we're
Jarred
like
Podcast.
an actual thing now. We don't need a dot
we lost
anymore.
that dot.
Oh.
Yeah, we did. Yep, we are just Jarred Podcast now on Instagram. You can find our Facebook page. We also have a Facebook group, Jarred Posting, all one word. What else? We've got merch that you can find on our website.
Yeah, obviously there'll be bunch of, well, I'm assuming we're gonna be making some new ones for obviously Unsolved Mysteries. I'm guessing. We did with
How do we
should
that?
do
we
that.
did with Urban Legends, so I imagine we can follow it on to Unsolved Mysteries somehow, depending on the cases we bring.
yeah, we'll work on that.
Depending on the cases we bring forward, obviously.
Well, it could just be a general Unsolved Mysteries sort of thing rather than specific.
Specific, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to
No, we ain't
Never mind.
doing that. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
We have obviously our Patreon as well, which all throughout the summer we have been releasing obviously our monthly content as normal. And if you were part of any tier, you would have been receiving the bonus ones, but all that now changes, doesn't it? Because we've now come back on air, so...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So it's just tier... So if you're... Correct me if I'm wrong, Jess, it's tier 2 and 3 now?
Yep.
That's... Yeah. We now get the monthly bonus episodes.
Yes.
Yeah, that is literally just... That is Jarred, literally raw, unedited, uncut. Yeah.
You're getting a bonus episode. You're getting early access. You're getting...
Yeah, you're getting everything.
Merch discounts. Guys, please rate, review, and subscribe. Those downloads, that's what matters, my dudes. We do appreciate the reviews for sure. You can also leave us a voicemail, which could potentially play on a future episode, depending on its content. You can leave that at speakpipe.com/jarred. Would love to get a voicemail. You guys can ask us whatever you want to ask, or if you have if you need to correct us on something we said on a previous episode, don't do that because I'm not open to criticism.
That'll most likely be somebody correcting me.
Trust us, she's not really.
No.
I said I'm not open to criticism, so
We're
don't
just
critique me.
emphasizing it.
Yeah, do not critique me. I will delete your voicemail. Apple, Spotify, Google. I think that's it. So we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
See you next week, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening.